Are you tired of self-doubt holding you back? Have you ever wished you could have the confidence to face your fears, go after your wildest dreams, and the tools necessary to live your best life? Hey there, amazing listeners. I'm your host and author of How to Grasp Confidence and Own Your Power. And I've made it my mission to help you break free from self-doubt and embrace confidence. Subscribe now and join us as we unlock the secrets to unshakable self-assurance. Let's dive in.
What separates high impact leaders from the rest? It's not just intelligence or hard work, it's charisma, confidence, and presence. Meet Keith Allen Johns, a former tech C suite executive turned elite performance coach. He has cracked the code on leadership excellence, helping rising executives, entrepreneurs, and high performers master influence, command the room, and lead with undeniable presence. I love that. Keith's journey wasn't just handed to him, though. He built it. A blue-collar kid from a white-collar world. He rose to the top, transformed his mindset, and now helps other leaders do the same. Keith, welcome to the show.
I'm so excited to talk about this. Thanks for having me.
Well, the key words that I took away from that were confidence, presence, charisma.
Yeah.
These are really important traits for a leader to have. If somebody's coming into the room, if it's a boardroom or if it's a team meeting, you've got to be commanding that attention and coming in with charisma, but also a presence that's really, it doesn't have to announce itself.
Yeah.
That's important. It just kind of enters, right? You don't have to announce it, it just comes.
Yeah.
How did you get to this point where you understood this concept?
Yeah. Well, I think it's important. I as a coach, I try not to talk too much about myself, only to ground who I am to my clients or to your audience or whatever, because I think we tend to see the finished product and we go, whoa, must have been born with that, right? So I want people to know I'm an introvert, and people look at me and say, excuse me? Oh, then you're just putting on an act. No, I have found skills that are dormant inside the real me and learn how to pull them forward, right? I also had social anxiety for a long time and got help with that. So what you see when I'm in the coaching bubble or when I'm on stage speaking or when I'm having a blast on a podcast like this is there's a button I flip, sure, but it's me. And see, I think what you're getting at here is when you figure out how to flip those buttons in a way that works for you, it comes out almost invisibly. If you look at how others do it and try to apply as if putting on an outfit, their approach, whether it be being very gregarious or being really funny or being really demonstrative, and it's not you, other people can read it. Our senses, we say we have 5 senses, but let's be honest, it's like we really have 5,000, honestly. We pick up so many signals from other humans. Our bodies are just, they're radar dishes, and we read people, right? We call it your aura or vibe or whatever you want to call it, but you know when you know. So it has to come from inside out and it has to come from the real you. And that's why you mentioned mindset as a big part of my transformation. It's a little bit of a cliche at this point, but what it means is in order for your external behaviors, confidence, charisma, presence to shift, you have to start in one place and one place only. Believe it or not, it's not with how you act externally. It's how you handle things internally. Because when these things are powerful, when your leadership is powerful at home or at work, it's coming from the inside out.
Yes, 100%. It's nothing that we can fake. It's nothing we can copy from somebody else. What you said there is, it points all back to authenticity. Showing up as we are, ourselves, not trying to be like somebody else, right? And this is so important because when we try to be like somebody else, it leads to comparison,
Mm,
right? And then what does that do to our self-worth? Oh, it
right,
diminishes it, right? So, comparison is the thief of joy. We've heard that saying before,
right.
but
And
it's
it's
also
true.
the thief of confidence too.
Yeah, without question. Um, we go through human development is one thing I'm fascinated with. So it's been 13 years that I've gotten just obsessed with understanding me. And that happened. I got good at teaching other people to understand themselves. We're this sort of, sack of insanity, right? This physiology of ours is kind of crazy. And being a human is crazy. And being an adolescent and going through puberty and then becoming an adult and having parents with such a high impact on us. And it all adds up to this stew where we hit our 20s and we bring some things along with us that might not serve us, not only habits of mind, but beliefs and maybe a little trauma, right? No one's parents were perfect. And we've got to figure out how to process, handle, and shift that in order to tap into being comfortable, being who we really are. Puberty is a powerful signal that we're not good enough. We're going through a lot of change. And it's really easy to carry that into adulthood, this lack of belief in yourself. When I work with people, it's so important that when they come to me, let's just say, for instance, they say, I really want to build my confidence. Wonderful. I could give them all my powerful exercises and readings on confidence, and they could go execute on them. And the returns would be diminished compared to a different process where I say, well, tell me something you'd like to be confident when you're doing it. And they'll give me a scenario. And I'll say, great. And I'll actually have them close their eyes and walk through the process of doing the thing until they start to get anxious to figure out what thought is telling them they can't be confident in that scenario. And inevitably, I'll hear something very powerful. I don't belong. I'm
Mm.
not enough. I'm an imposter, right? I don't deserve this. A very powerful belief. So again, if I just gave them a program, that belief wouldn't go anywhere. So we've got to pull that thread all the way back to where they were told they're not good enough. Now, I'm not a therapist, but I've been called a business therapist before, right? We do have to do a little bit of
Yes.
healing on the past because real change comes from fixing your belief system, then behaving differently. I'll give you a quick story. I love to tell a story because it's about a 14-year-old, which makes it very simple and sweet and pure. I coached a couple, not together. I coached them individually so that they could be better together. Not a couples therapist. I've been told that I might want to look into that though. So the parents come to me, these amazing humans, and they're starting to grow together because I've given them some skills. And they say, "Do you coach teenagers?" And I said, "Oh Lord, no, I don't." No, 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 no. Then I said, "Maybe. What's going on?" And they said, "Will you help our daughter with her confidence?" And I thought, I'm up for anything. And so she gets on the call the first time, and I said, "Give me an example when you don't feel confident." And she said she's scared to order food when they go out to eat. Now, this is something, as someone with social anxiety, I can identify with. And I said, "What's going on?" I had her walk through and visualize it. Very scared of making a mistake, very scared of
Wow.
being embarrassed, right? So the process becomes one of belief rewriting plus micro actions. And I won't go deep into the process here, but essentially there's a step-by-step thing I have this that these people do. And so I had her go out, order food, but not just order food, right? Micro actions plus beliefs. Net end of it 4 weeks later, how's it going? What are you talking about? She's a teenager, of course. Yeah, of course I order my food. It's fine. I'm not scared anymore, right? Like just shrugging at it. But this is how the process can work, right? We have to really define confidence for ourselves in moments that are important to us, figure out why we aren't, and then take aligned action to start producing that confidence. The action piece is really important.
Yes. Yes. I love that. It's the consistent small doses of action.
Yes.
When it's so easy to say, number one, a blanket statement, I just want to be confident. Confident at what, right? Is the
Right.
first thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the second is, no amount of thought and great intention is
Yes.
going to solve a problem. You have to put in the work. And this is where small, consistent habits stack up and create that compound interest for you.
Right.
Is that it starts with a small activity. I want to be more confident ordering food. Could one day, with enough small, consistent habits, actually lead to her speaking on stage?
Here's the key. I love that you said that. I like to name my tools and name my models. One of them is called the 3I model. It's information, implementation, and integration. We're really good at the information piece. The answers are everywhere. Podcasts, books, seminars. We all have the information. Do we implement it? Do we take actions to rewire and make it part of ourselves? And do we implement it enough that becomes integrated, right? So that's the model. But then people say, oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of work. And I say, no, pebbles move boulders. You have a boulder on your path to greatness that's called lack of confidence. And you feel like you've got to push this megaton boulder. But guess what? That boulder's getting held in place by these little pebbles underneath. That boulder wants to roll. So I'm going to send you out to wiggle a pebble. Tell this amazing teenager, I want you to place an order once. Not every time this week. This week, between our sessions, I want you to go do it one time. And I want you to do it this way. And then I want you to report back. And then the next week, I'm going to have you do it twice. And then the week after that, 3 times. And then eventually, so we break these things down, right? Like you said, these micro actions, these little moments, so that you can get out of just having the knowledge and get to the point where you have the actual change. And what you said is so crucial. These muscles are transferable. When I worked on my social anxiety through a crazy exercise, when I would go to the public pool and process how I handled being in a crowd differently, it translated to the stage. It
Mm.
translated to the executive boardroom. It translated to my family room. Because, see, wherever we go, there we are. I tell my clients I'm a holistic coach. I don't like to label myself. It's everything, right? Wherever you go, you're taking your confidence or lack of, your presence or lack of, your charisma or lack of is with you. And it matters. It matters at church. It matters in your community. It matters in your family. It matters at home. It matters at business. And this type of coaching, it's for everyone. This is no longer just executive coaching. Life has gotten really challenging and it's getting harder every day. Look at what's going on out in the world. Everyone needs a co-pilot. It makes a big difference. It's not just for executives anymore.
Yes, it's so true. I mean, we can all use this. I don't know how many countless hours and money that I have spent on my own personal development.
Yeah.
This is so imperative to really understand. And we, you know, the growth, of course, it sounds cliche. It does happen outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how and what steps we even take sometimes. It just matters that we're taking a step and we know when something's outside of our comfort zone. And if something's outside of our comfort zone, we also know and can infer that it will cause growth.
Yes.
So this is exactly what happened with me because I'm the youngest of 5. I was the shy kid.
Ah.
I was picked on in school. I can remember eating lunch in the bathroom
Oh.
sometimes. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I had any friends,
Yeah.
and it carried with me throughout my whole life.
That's right.
And then when I was finally like an entrepreneur full time, I realized that, okay, that's not going to fly in entrepreneurship land. You have to get out there, right? The world has to know who you are.
Yeah.
So I started putting myself out there. You
That's
know
right.
what? You can look back at my first podcast recording. It's somewhere on the internet.
Yeah.
My second podcast, they were horrifying. But you know what? I'm really glad I did them. Why? Because that was the first video I ever made online. I had never taken a selfie video before
Right.
or like posted it anywhere. That
Yeah.
was the first thing I ever did. And you know what? You have to start somewhere. It's okay if it's messy. It's okay if it's not perfect. It's not going to be anyway. All
Well,
you have to start somewhere, and then you never know where it's gonna go.
Yes.
I mean, that led to a TEDx talk eventually, and here we are today.
Yeah. It's why you can't look at Instagram and think those people just flipped the switch and became that. First of all, it's mostly nonsense. But even if you meet me and go, well, he seems authentic, but boy, that sure seems natural for him, or it seems natural for Tara. No,
Ooh.
not. You've got to know when you see anybody whose success you admire, they went through the muck. I mean, I help entrepreneurs, I help C-suiters at major finance companies, people that from the outside look like they have crushed it since birth, and they haven't. They struggle, they cry, they stress, they failed, all of that, right? The thing is they do the work, like we talked about. So it's not about spending time comparing. It's so crucial you get out of that. And the only thing to compare yourself is to you the day before. Did I do a little something? Did I grow a little bit? Here's a really important part about discomfort. I love that topic. Okay. So you got to understand your physiology. When you seek change, your body's going to revolt. I'm sorry, it's going to. It's going to trigger some hormones in you, and you're going to feel a little oogie on the inside. And it's going to say, Tara, don't send that DM. Don't hit record on that podcast. Keith, don't sign up that sales call. What if we fail? What if things go terrible? That discomfort, right? I call it the bridging period, right? We have the version of you here and the version of you here, and you want to be this so bad. And the price is some discomfort in the middle. That's why I shrink it down to a little micro action. I don't say you have to do this every day for the rest of your life. Go do it for me once. Send one DM. Send one DM and come back to me. Then send the second. Then send the third. That little discomfort is the price for what you want. And by the way, the discomfort's total baloney. It's BS. It's your body panicking over something you don't actually have to panic over. But it's a really strong emotion. See, I don't tell people that their discomfort isn't valid. It is. Very powerful signal from your body. But it's also nonsense. You've got a higher self. This is just your body. It ain't your spirit, your soul, your juju, whatever you want to call it. That's the part that's in charge. Don't let your physiology determine your future, right? You got to overcome that discomfort. That's the little price we pay, but it is so worth it.
It's so worth it. Oh my gosh, preach it. I tell this to my clients all the time. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And you've got to put in the work. You have to put in the maximum amount of effort with everything you do. Put the maximum amount of effort and be the best you can. Listen, I'm a firm believer, everybody, that God put you on this earth for a reason and a purpose. And you deserve big things in life. You deserve to have the confidence to go after your dreams. He didn't create you to be stuck in some rat race. You're better than that, right?
100%.
It's all about going after the thing that you want, that you know you want,
Yeah.
and chipping away at it. The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Come on, it's
Yeah.
possible. It looks like a big thing until you start.
I have had some clients work with me for 3 or more years, and they all started at a different place. And one of my clients had a real challenge with confidence, with being present. It's funny. She's amazing. She was in her mid-20s when she reached out to me and said, I want to be a COO. Will you teach me? And I thought, holy cow. She's like 20 years behind. Heck yeah, I'll teach you. And then we dug in, right? And there's some stuff in her childhood that pulled back her confidence and caused anxiety in her performance. And we worked and we worked and we worked and we worked. And she worked at a startup for a while. And now she's got her own business. And God love her, she just turned a $20,000 a month as a consultant. But she texted me. She sent me a text. She sent me a voice message. And she was like, Keith, all these things happened today that were negative. And I feel great. It's like, I'm in charge. I'm in the power seat. I can handle anything. I can't wait to see what comes next. She earned those stripes one day at a time over 3 years. We all start with a different set of default strengths. Yes, some people are naturally charismatic. They've got holes in other areas. Some people are very good at presence. They've got holes in other areas. You have to figure out which areas are crucial to you to get from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. The thing in between here is discomfort, and you overcome it with thought rewiring and micro actions. This is the bridging period, right? In order to get there, it is it's amazing. I'm in recovery, so I know what one day at a time is. 13 years clean and sober. Okay, that day one, if you had told me I had to stay clean and sober for 13 years, I would have been a disaster. But
Yep.
if you say just for today, I can do that. Anyone on this call who wants more from life can do one day of new work, and then you go to bed and get your water and get your food and rest and recharge. Then the next day you do a little bit more. It's totally possible. Life on your terms, from your power seat. You just have to go take it. And if
Yeah.
you need some help, get someone to help you on the way.
Yep. You just have to go take it.
Yes.
I look at it as a birthright, that this is your birthright.
Yeah.
Be confident. And again, to go after your dreams, to have success. And I like what you said, that it's one day at a time. You can't control what you did yesterday. That's in the past. Just forget about it, right?
Yeah.
You can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. It's irrelevant. But what we all have control of are our present actions at this moment. It's actually a line from my TEDx talk.
Yeah.
Forget about the past, forget about the future, but you do have control of the right now. And I think that's really powerful as a leader, that we get into that mind space
Yeah.
of the present.
It
Because, that's where, when you're a really present-minded person, people are attracted to you, and that kind of builds on
yes.
your charisma.
So yeah, let's talk about charisma a little bit. So I've got a friend who wrote the Charisma Myth. She's amazing, bestseller, amazing coach, and I've talked to her a little bit about her process and what she learned, and so now I talk about charisma a little bit. And her model is warmth, power, and presence are the three keys. And I think they're all achievable in their own way from any individual who wants to learn how to practice them. Now, the challenge with presence is we all have these crazy, crazy, crazy brains. And so you first must understand what your brain's job is. Your brain runs your systems. It's fantastic. You don't have to worry about your blood pressure, your digestion, your endocrine system. Hey, I got this. Your brain's second job is survival, aka sending you scary messages, sending you thoughts you don't want about stuff that doesn't really probably matter. So all of our brains are going a million miles an hour. So when we're with other humans, guess where we spend our time? Up here, me. Not because you have an ego, because your brain is the 800-pound gorilla. So let's go back to what we said before, what Tara pointed out. You can build strong muscles one step at a time to control this thing, right? And that's where presence starts. Presence starts by getting out of here and getting out here. And I'm going to give you one of the most powerful tools that people on your call can start using, on your podcast, can start using today. And it's called the curiosity mindset. If all you do is walk into the next one moment where you want to be present for an important interaction with a human, do this. Go ready to ask questions. Listen very intently with the purpose of asking a powerful follow-up question, a clarification question, or a detail question. Here's why this works. Your neocortex gets blood flow. Your fight-flight gets blood flow too. Guess what? They can't both get it at the same time. You cannot be scared and be inquisitive simultaneously. You might be able to switch back and forth really fast, but if you shift into inquisitiveness, the blood will stop flowing to your fight-flight center. It'll flow to the human part of your brain, your neocortex. Your system will calm down, and now you're creating a reinforcing function. See, the problem with when we're spinning this way on a negative reinforcement loop, it's impossible to get present. But we start to make the tornado turn this way. We're listening to ask a question. We're listening to understand. The next thing we do is ask a follow-up question. You want to be present and engage with that other human. That is the very first real powerful step. Now, there are all kinds of other ingredients in that stew, right? You can pack in body language and eye contact, your ability to mirror the person if there's someone who's very expressive. There are lots of ways, but boy, I tell you what, of all the things I learned when I was given mentorship training as an executive and when I went into coaching, what impresses people most is asking good questions. You want to get their attention. You want to tell them you care. You want to show them they're listening. Ask a question, because questions are the key to presence.
I agree. And, for a lot of people that are lacking confidence, again, going back to that, they may be even afraid to ask questions
Mm,
because they may think, will this person think less of me? Will I look stupid? Will I say a bad question? Will I do this? Will I do that? And what they're actually doing is shooting themselves in the foot and preventing an actual connection from happening. So that lack of confidence, all those inner bullies that are telling you all of these things, by the
right.
way, it's self-sabotaging your next move and connection with another human being. And if you do that on a long enough scale for a long enough period of time, you're going to find a pattern of unsuccessful habits and behaviors. And
Yeah.
then you say, I had so many opportunities, Keith. You're going to say, I had so many opportunities, I blew them all.
Yeah.
It's that powerful.
Yeah, without question. Belief rewiring plus micro action. And by the way, the first time you take the micro action, don't expect to be amazing at it. Like you said, yeah, your first question might be awkward. It might be ham-handed. That person does not, that other human being does not carry a library of your screw ups around with them. They really don't. We think they do. We do. I know I can give you the encyclopedia of key screw ups. No other human can do that. So, gosh, that belief rewiring is really important. They're more worried about themselves than they are me. And oh, by the way, when you ask someone a question, guess what actually happens? They're interested in me. Tara asked me a follow up. Well, I can't wait to tell her how smart I am. When you ask people questions, it makes them feel good. You want to be charismatic, make others feel good. Pay really good attention to them. Be warm. Be present. It is much more doable once you break it down into micro actions and beliefs, and you go out and you practice the things. And the change will happen noticeably, but incrementally. But give it 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and this person who used to go to parties and hide. I used to go to social events in corporate, and I was the guy behind the plant wishing the cocktail hour was over. Now I do this for a living, not because I'm faking it, because I went to work on me to get the results I want on the external part of my life.
That's right. It's the best coaches, the best mentors, the best consultants, right? They've been where you are right now.
That's right.
And they've gone through the muck and, earned some scars along the way and have some battle tales and maybe even some war paint still left, right?
Right.
They've seen it all. And these are the folks that, can take us to that next level.
Yeah.
I really truly believe that. So I'm really appreciative of this conversation. I think, this will definitely help a lot of people. Our audience, a lot of high performers out there, lots of CEOs, lots of entrepreneurs, lots of high level people just trying to get to that extra level. They want to, have their new breakthrough or transformation.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know that it's possible, and it's not possible through huge leaps, bounds, and marathons, because that's how you can burn out, right?
Yeah.
But it is certainly possible if you take one small action at a time and do it on a consistent clip to where, you know what, you were making consistent progress in the positive way that you're wanting to go. I think that's important. Keith, any last words of wisdom for people out there?
I think we covered it, but I really liked your the message that you said about, I think this is an important part. We didn't talk about vision. Real quick, I just want to say all this work should be in service of a very clear experience you want to have in your life. So do the work, yes. Get more confidence, yes. Develop charisma, but have a reason for it that you define. Many of my clients, we don't start with those things. We start with where you want to go, who you want to be, what do you want your life to be like? Because a lot of people are kind of on a predetermined path. They haven't thought about really what kind of work they want to do, or what they want their family life to be like, or what they want their free time to be like. So paint a really bold vision and question it, and make sure it's what you really want. I help a lot of my clients through transitions to different lines of work or into entrepreneurship or out of entrepreneurship or around changes in family or personal life. Define what you want from your life for you with no equivocations. Get really clear on that. Then identify, okay, I need to work on charisma. I need to work on confidence. Identify the things that are missing and get to work on those. But make sure you know where you want to go. And if you don't, figure it out, because whatever you want, however you want to build your life, is totally possible. Get clear on that. Do the work. Watch what happens.
As Marion Wright Edelman once said, you cannot be what you cannot see. You have to see it in order to become it. Folks, what a powerful episode of Grasp Confidence. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a review. We're growing in a few countries now. It's kind of amazing. It's catching like wildfire.
Nice.
People are loving this message of empowerment. Best thing you can do is leave us a review so that we can keep being seen and heard by more people. We appreciate each one of you. We will catch you on the next episode.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Grasp Confidence. Thank you for joining me today and investing in yourself. Remember, building confidence is an ongoing journey, and each step you take brings you closer to the empowered, fearless version of yourself that you were born to be. Don't forget to visit my website, follow me on social media, and purchase my book, which is available on Amazon. Thank you for listening. We will see you on the next episode. Stay confident.